The title of the talk is The Cat That Became a Master. So I hope this talk doesn't make you catatonic. Okay. I want to thank Reverend Kristen for allowing me back. And I thank her, and I know that you miss her, and we're going to have a good time. So, we're all searching for this truth that fills our heart, that makes us feel whole, that makes us feel alive. And it's that truth that can't be given. I can't just give you that truth. And it's not about earning the truth either. And it's not about reading about it. It's this truth that really can't even be spoken. But you recognize it when it's there. And you feel it when it's there. And also you can live it. And so this talk is about Bob's wisdom. Bob's my cat. And Bob's going to be telling you his story. But before we get to Bob, 25 years ago was kind of the beginning of my journey when Christian, my oldest son, writes me a letter from Japan. And he's in studies heavy into Zen. And he's in the monasteries and he's doing the work. And he writes this letter. And at the bottom of the letter it says this quote, "Do not follow in the footsteps of the master, but seek what the master sought." Ooh, you know what that means. I knew exactly what that meant, and I went, that's good. And it's up on my desk, and it's been there ever since, as a reminder. I can't walk in anybody else's shoes. I need my own shoes. Otherwise, I get blisters. So, a little while later, I was at Ace Hardware. And they have those little trinkets on the way out. And these are these magnets for your refrigerator. And the magnet said, "It's not the path you find, but it's the trail that you blaze." Ooh, there it is again. What trails am I blazing, or am I following somebody else's path? And it's easy to follow somebody else's path because it's worn. It's easy to follow. It's not scary. And besides, you might meet people along. What if you go into the wilderness? Ooh. And so I'm talking to Bob about this. And Bob says, "Let me tell you a story. I know exactly what you're talking about." And so Bob starts out by saying, "When I was a little kitten," and there's the first slide there. "When I was just a little guy, my parents took me to a temple, and they gave me up." What? I lost my family, my brothers and sisters. I've lost that love, but they wanted me to be spiritual. And so I stayed. And the monks were very kind to me, and they taught me well. And I learned scriptures, and I had my little Zafu cat cushion I sat on, and I had my little cat robes. And I became a really good student. So good that people from the town would come and watch me sit, and they'd say, "Oh, he's so spiritual." I didn't understand it, but the people in the temple did, because the money was coming in because people wanted to see the cat. So I started to feel pretty proud about being this spiritual person, this spiritual cat. And it wasn't sitting well. And after a couple of years, I'm all grown up, and I'm still feeling that ache. I haven't discovered that place within me that's true. Now, I know all about Yep, he's grown up, huh? I know all about the Zen practices, but I don't know who I am. And so I was wondering, looking around at all the other monks, I go up and ask the head monk, tell me, truthfully now, have you found what you've been looking for? Do you really have peace in your heart? And the monk bowed his head. No. And Bob said, wow, how long have you been doing this? 50 years. 50 years! I don't have 50 years. I'm out of here. And as Bob said, he ran. He said, there's something I am missing, and I have to leave what's here. And so he walks out, and as he's going through this day, he's realizing this is the first time he's really been out on his own. And it's like, there's nobody watching. I don't have to be anybody. This is pretty cool. So he gets to the gatekeeper to the wilderness. The gatekeeper says, ha, I know you. You're that Zen cat. I can tell by your robes. And Bob could feel the pride. Well, yes, I am. What are you doing out here? Well, I couldn't find it in the monastery. Maybe it's in the wilderness. I know of all the other masters have gone into the wilderness. Perhaps I can find it there. The gatekeeper said, that's pretty good, Bob. I'll tell you, you're going to have to leave your robes. You're going to have to leave your identity. You're going to have to leave everything at the gate. Bob said, okay, because what I've found so far hasn't done it. I'm willing to try. And the gatekeeper says, okay, good. But first, I want you to admit something, and I want to hear it from your voice. I want you to admit that you don't know, that you thought you did, but you don't really know. Okay, it's true. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm looking for, but I know when I find it. The gatekeeper said, that's a great beginning. Great beginning. And so off Bob goes. Now, it didn't come too long before he found on his path a stream. And he starts to cross the stream, and poof, up comes this magical fish. Of course, it's a magical fish. And the magical fish says, I can tell you're a seeker on the path. I'm here to give you some guidance. I'm here to tell you about the magical tree in the cedar forest, that if you sit in the branch of that tree, you will find what you're looking for. And Bob goes, yippee, okay, that's for me. And so the fish said, but, that's not really what you're looking for. I'm here to tell you what you're actually looking for. Okay? What you're looking for, Bob, is you're looking to become not good at, but to become a master of giving and receiving love. Not just good at it, but a master at it. Do you know what that means? Bob says, no, I don't know what that means. That's your journey. Go to the tree and see what you find. And so off Bob goes. And the first thing he hits is a crossroads. I know none of us have ever hit crossroads before, and we start sitting at the cross going, which way am I going to go? How can I know what's the right decision to make? Meanwhile, the cat's thinking out loud, and there's the turtle sitting there. The turtle wakes up and goes, oh, yeah, you're a seeker, and you're trying to figure out which is the right path to take. Lucky I'm here to inform you. There is no right path. What? What do you mean? What you're looking for, you can find on any path because it's not on the path. It's what you bring to the path. I'm not so sure, Turtle. Trust me, I've been doing this for 70 years. I've seen a lot of seekers, and that's what they tell me. I'm still not buying it. By the way, where's the tree in the forest? That's the middle way. Okay, well, thank you for your advice, Turtle. Oh, the turtle says, one last thing. On your path, on your journey, there will be obstacles. Many obstacles. Those obstacles are the most important part of your journey because they bring out your wild nature and your creativity. So don't shy away from the obstacles. And when you see an obstacle, don't push. Move towards it. That's my advice. Okay, Turtle, that's enough. I'm going to go. I'm going to find my tree. And so off Bob goes. And he's heading up the mountain now, and it's getting steep. It's starting to rain, and there's wind, and it's getting dark. Not a good thing for cats. They like cozy, you know? And so Bob's looking up this and up at the mountain and going, I don't know, this has been a wrong decision. This is one of those obstacles. I'm supposed to embrace it. Yeah, right. And then he sees a flicker of light way up in the rocks. And so he starts to climb up towards the rocks. And it's slippery, and he's climbing up there. Looks inside, there's a badger in this cave with a fire. It's warm, and there's food, and there's a little bed for him. It's like, wow, this is great. The badger invites him in. And the badger says, eat first, and then we'll talk. Wow, this is great. Bob eats when he's full, and he's relaxed, and he's warm. The badger asks him, what are you looking for? I'm looking for peace in my heart. I know what I'm looking for, I just haven't found it. The badger said, are you sure? Look, right now in this moment. Just look. Boom, just like that. Look. Are you okay in this moment? Is anything missing from this moment? And Bob was silent. A silence that he hadn't known before, because he really looked. The badger was so compelling that he looked, and he had to admit that there was nothing missing from this moment. There was that momentary fullness that he'd been looking for. He had touched something that the badger had taught him to look. And the badger said, oh. The most important thing is to find something so engaging that you forget yourself. Bob thought about that. Yeah, I can see that. I really haven't found that yet, something so engaging. I still feel like I'm a monk. He said, yeah, but when you find something that makes you come alive, that truly makes you come alive, you forget yourself in the moment. That carries you along. And Bob thought about that, and he said, yeah, that's true. And Bob said, you know, you're probably traveling to the tree, am I correct? I've seen a lot of you guys coming through here. I tell them all the same thing. It's not the destination. It's not even the journey. It's who you're traveling with. who you're sharing your life with is so important. Chances are you'll be disappointed in the tree. From what I know about you so far, you're going to have to shed your monk. You're going to have to shed more of your past. And Bob says, I don't know how to do that. Just trust. Trust your inner wild nature, and it will guide you. But you're going to have to find your inner wild nature. I don't know how to do that. No, you don't. But if you forget yourself, it will come. Okay. And so the badger said, we'll speak more in the morning. And so they go to sleep. And the next morning, the badger's gone. And Bob's left to contemplate everything he's learned so far on the journey as he walks out of the cave and down the mountain into the great cedar forest. He finds the tree instantly. It's easy. There's lots of tracks around it. It's well worn. And he climbs up the tree, and there's the branch. It's well worn. And he sits on the branch. He says, yeah, this has got to be it. Look at this. There's all this evidence. He sits down, goes into meditation, and waits. And waits. It's not happening. He's waiting some more. It's not happening. Pops one eye open and goes, what? Maybe it's not in the tree after all. Maybe all of my teachers of the path here were right. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. And just then, this squirrel, as Bob describes it, starts hurtling acorns at him. Ouch! Ow! Oh, ow! Get out of my tree, the squirrel says. What are you doing in my tree? I've seen you pilgrims up here all the time, messing in my tree. This is my tree. There's nothing spiritual about this tree. Look at all these trees. They're all spiritual. And you pick my tree? Get out of here. Well, Bob going, okay. So he climbs down the tree and he goes off into the forest. And it's the first time he's really felt truly alone. Probably more alone than he's ever felt before. He's lost his family. He's lost his community with the monks. His spirituality that he thought he had was no longer relevant for where he was now. And he's just sat there and he sobbed into the grass. And Bob told me this was what St. John of the Cross talks about. The dark night of the soul, when everything is left and you're truly on your own and there's nothing to grasp. And he thinks, well, maybe that's what the turtle was talking about. This is the greatest obstacle of all. This is it. How do I move forward into this? Maybe there's something within this emptiness that I can't see. Maybe there's something here. Well, I'm going to do what a cat does. I'm going to take a nap. So Bob takes a nap, and when he wakes up, I'm hungry. Okay, and that's the very next step. And so he starts to hunt. And there's something very freeing about what's happening. Because that's what's next, is I'm hungry. I'm sleepy, I slept, and now I'm hungry. I eat. And so for the next weeks, he did exactly that. He became much more natural, and something alive started to come alive within him. His heart started to open. He started to see nature not as an obstacle, but as a companion, showing him where the animals were. It was all in harmony. I know the mice didn't appreciate it, but Bob did. But there was a harmony here, and he felt at peace, not a fullness, but at ease for the very first time. Alone in the wilderness, he was not separate. He was a part of it. This was a big deal. And it wasn't long before he stumbled upon Butterfly Valley. And there he is. In Butterfly Valley, there were these flowers everywhere, and butterflies and hummingbirds, and it was like paradise. And something in him, the beauty in him, blew him open, just blew him open. And he sat there stunned, just watching. I know he looked serious there, but that's Bob. And he's looking at all this, all the beauty. And his heart, for the first time, is really opening. And if that wasn't enough, he sees this little paw pop up out of the grass and bat at a butterfly, and then roll back into the grass and giggle. What's that? It was a kitten. And Bob goes up and starts watching the kitten from afar, and the kitten is playing delight, innocent, fresh, new, just with nowhere else to go but to be in this precious moment that the kitten didn't even know how precious it was. But Bob did. Bob, you see, has come the full journey all the way around. So now he can appreciate what he truly lost as a little kitten himself. And so he walks up and says, "Hi, my name's Bob." And the kitten says, "Oh, hi, my name's Mink. Can we be friends?" Bob says, "Sure, sure." And Bob said it from a place within him that he didn't know before. This is what that full circle of love, that's what the magical fish was talking about. Giving and receiving love. Innocently, effortlessly. It just was with ease. And little Mink said, "Hey, let's play." Bob says, "I'm a little rusty, but let's go." And so they began to play. And they played and they played. And over time, Mink grew up. And now you can see from the picture that they're traveling companions. Now it's not about the destination. It's not about the path. It's about your luggage and who you're traveling with. And there they are, ready for their next adventure, the traveling cats. But if you think about it, to become a master of giving and receiving love, how do we learn that? If not by the obstacles, if not by bumping up about, if not by finding that wild, untamed nature within us that knows no fear, that's willing to take the chances, the tough chances, that's willing to be vulnerable, that's willing to stand out and to take a stand and to make a difference. This is what tempers us. This is what enriches our heart. And this is Bob's message to all of us. Find a good traveling companion. Become engaged and involved. And I think there's something else Bob had to say. Oh, and trust in what makes you come alive. Really what wakes you up. What gets you so engaged that you forget who you are and what's going on. That you become that engaged in life that it all sort of disappears, and what's left is the unity and the wonder of exactly what always has been. All is well right now.